I'm super excited about this topic today, and it's just so important. So this webinar today is about building a strong website and social media presence. So there's just a couple more people that are joining in, and then we will get started. All right. So today's webinar, again, is on building a strong website and social media presence. This is so important. As you know, with COVID, selling in person became a lot harder. And your prospects are now more than ever trained to look for things online. So that's not going to go 100% of the way. People are now more trained than ever to be looking online, and your online presence needs to absolutely represent you and your work. So that's super important. Just some housekeeping as we get started. I absolutely love it when you turn on your video, if that is possible. And if you have questions or want to share some knowledge as we're going through, feel free to unmute your mic and jump in. Sometimes I get on a roll. You can also, type questions or comments in chat. So I'd love that. And in fact, to start off with, why don't people comment, like, are they happy with how they are online, looking for a few tips, or are you really not getting any prospects online? I would love for you to share like where you're at, because then I can help you even more. So feel free to put that into chat. And I'm sorry, my computer, I think, is loading a little slow today. So studies show that your website only has 3 seconds to capture your prospect's attention. So you have 3 seconds. That's not very much time. And when we're talking about capturing your prospect's attention, that is getting them to scroll down on that homepage and getting them to look at the navigation and click on one of your inside pages. So 3 seconds, just think about it. If somebody comes to the website, ideally you want them to understand your services and see your work, right? So it's super important that you capture them and try to move them to the next step, which is looking at your work and understanding your services. You might not understand how your website and social media profiles can build trust and help prospects move to the next step. So even on your website, you're thinking about moving them to the next step. And just in sales in general, you're not trying to sell them everything. Like when they get to your website, you're just trying to move them to the next step. For example, you're trying to get them to the website. You're trying to have a conversation with them once they're on the website and build trust and get them to understand how you can help them, and then get them to that next step where you want them to take the next step by contacting you and start a conversation with you, whether that's get on your email list or start following you on social media, or make an appointment with you. Or if you're selling some of your services online, then buy something from you. So think about it as the next step. There's multiple steps to sales and to your marketing. Your online presence should reflect the quality of your work, tell your unique story, and validate your company. So this is super important. And so think about this too, that like I talked to one person that is an interior designer, and she didn't think her website mattered a whole lot because her work was beautiful. And you guys are selling clients an experience and beauty, right? That's why they're buying from you, and functionality, right? They're buying all those things. They want to have a beautiful space that they can experience. So that is what you're selling. You're selling them a dream. And when your work, most of you do beautiful work. I mean, nonstop. I look at people's work and it is absolutely gorgeous. But sometimes, like when you look at the website, the beauty of the website and the look and feel and the story of the website is not matching up with the work. So it's not able to validate the company, or it's not able to get them to move to that next step. So if you're wondering a little bit about us, if this is your first time here, I'm Deborah Scarpa. Ashley Blazing is my operations manager. We also have Taylor online, who helps out with a million things. We do have a larger agency where there's me and Ashley and Taylor. And then there's also, we have programmers, we have other designers, we have copywriters, we have a big team. And the reason why is because we really want everybody in that position to be like exceptional at what they do, right? We want to make sure that we're providing our clients with the best high quality product as possible. So we help home designer professionals transform their businesses and brands to attract their dream clients. So I know a lot of you are struggling to attract those dream clients. Sell your projects for more. Like if you're having a problem selling your projects for what they're worth, this can make a difference. Stay current online and get their time back with automated systems. I once read somewhere that building a business is not really building a business. It's actually building processes. So I love to think of that as building processes. If you're doing everything custom over and over, you're never going to be able to grow because it just takes too much time, right? So creating those processes to get your time back and so you can stay in your superpower is key to running your business. So today's agenda is on branding, website, social. I am super passionate about this. I'm just loving working with you guys because I also have the passion of making everything beautiful. So I just love that. First, we're going to talk about brand positioning, what that is, why it's important, logo design in your brand. So how your logo reflects your work, your brand, your website design, content and user experience, your social media, and Google My Business. So all those are key elements. They're really the foundation to your overall marketing. Like I get a lot of people that come to me and they want to jump into generating leads and they don't have this foundation set up. Well, if you're spending money or time generating leads and you don't have this foundation set up, it's just not as effective. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your investment. So in order to get the best results, this foundation is absolutely key. So at the end, we do have a worksheet for you on brand positioning, logo, website, and social. So that will help you, working on that will help you take that next step. So brand positioning, if you're wondering like what that is, attract your ideal clients, sell your projects for more, set your company apart from your competitors. So think about brand positioning is, how is it positioned? Like, what story online are you trying to tell? What ideal clients are you trying to attract? Like, are you really telling the right story in order to attract that right type of person? That is key, whether it is the photos you're showing, the design the design of your overall website, logo, the copy, it's the overall strategy. Your brand positioning is the overall strategy. So transforming your brand includes like the brand positioning, which is the overall strategy, and then your website, your brand assets. The brand assets are like your logo and everything. One thing that is key is making sure that all the pieces look as good as your work. And that is so important. Like, for example, and everything is matching and consistent. Because think about it, if your logo looks like clip art and then your website looks really messy and the colors don't match your work and the design isn't like beautiful, then it's not going to tell the right story. You want to be consistent with your brand. I know, think about it this way too. A lot of you really make sure you're dressed nice and you look nice, like when you're meeting with people, right? Because you're selling that whole experience, right? Think about your marketing elements having that same feel. It's not like you guys are selling plumbing, right? You guys are selling beauty. You want all your pieces of marketing to have that like look and feel, and that strategy is brand positioning. So think about positioning your brand based on what your story is, right? So what is your story? What are your services? Like if you're in commercial space or the bathroom space or like full house remodel, high-end luxury design versus more picking out furniture and doing more of staging, right? Then that needs to be communicated in your story. So your services, and I always like to think of your unique value. How do you deliver that? I know when I talk to a lot of you, when your clients work with you, they're like so amazed. They're so excited about everything that you're helping them with. For a lot of people, they're not communicating that value that they're really delivering to clients in their marketing. We want to make sure that we're communicating it in their marketing online so they understand that unique value before they even have a conversation with you, right? That's going to help you sell your projects for more. That's going to position you to like get that client versus them going to the competition. If you're not communicating that, they don't know that you're offering it. So they might go to somebody else, or they might not want to be willing to pay more for it. Think about if you go shopping and you find some brand that you're totally in love with, right? And you just find something and you know it's going to cost more, you're going to find the money to pay for it because you're so in love with it. Your ideal client, again, what's your story? Who is your ideal client? And are you telling that story in everything, the design, the look and feel? Are you attracting them? Are you telling them that you are the best option, that you are the one that's going to be able to deliver what they're looking for the best, and why? So size of projects, think about when somebody comes to your website, they want to know right away that you can service them and you specialize in servicing them and you're going to be the best choice for me. Now, we are the best in about us content is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what services you're offering and how you're going to help them. So size of projects, project investment. Like we have one website that we did that has a photo of a total custom bathroom, absolutely beautiful, right? And somebody coming to that website in 2 seconds is going to know, am I a good fit for that client or not? Obviously she works with clients that can afford like a custom space with custom ordered bathroom and a full redesign, high end, right? So that's what you're communicating by even showing that picture and with your messaging. So design style, what style you offer. Are you a good fit for that ideal client based on what style you offer? Are you showing off what style you offer in that first, like in the top part of your homepage, because they're going to give you 3 seconds to look at your website and see if you're a good fit for that. Social proof. So a lot of you might not understand what social proof is. So social proof is like, if you have video testimonials from your clients, if you have written testimonials, if you have Google reviews, if you've won awards, if you've been like in the media, like all of that is social proof that you want to work with me because I've done it before 1,000,000 times and I'm going to do it for you. So what is your story? Your services, your business, you and your business. What is your story? Now, a lot of people, when they're writing content and doing their marketing, they start with this. Okay. These two are more about building trust after they have already gone through these steps. So you need to think about your marketing as having a conversation with them. You need to talk about these steps. And then after they're like, yes, I love this work. And yes, they like offer my services. They do everything is lining up. Maybe I'll learn more about them and maybe I'll see if they're in my location and they can service me. So this conversation goes like this as you're talking to, think about it as you're talking to somebody with a conversation. It's the same type of conversation as you are having one in your written content, in your visual content in your marketing material, like your website. How much trust does your brand need to build? So I think of your website and your marketing, especially building that foundation, which is what we're talking about right now, is building trust. You're trying to build trust with that prospect in order to get them to the next step. And the trust isn't, like I said, isn't your story. It is more about trust in, like, sharing maybe your processes or sharing photos of projects you've done before that are like that, even your brand, the design of your brand and the look and feel is building trust that you're a professional company. You're not doing this as a hobby. If they come to your website and they feel like you're doing it as a hobby, they're going to expect to pay a ton less than if they come to your online brand and it is professional and looks amazing and represents your services and has like content talking about how, you have set processes and everything that you're offering. They're going to absolutely expect to pay more for that. What is your company's perceived value? And this is a really interesting concept. So think about your perception of your company. So your perception might be all the beautiful work that you've done after and when you're working with clients, everything that you're delivering to them, and you might be like, wow, like I am so excited. I love all the work that we are doing for our clients. Right? But then think about your prospects' perception. If they come to the website or your online marketing, even your Instagram page, and it doesn't match like your perception, let's say it looks more like a hobby, or it just doesn't look as professional. And a lot of times I like to base this too on like how much of an investment somebody is making. If they're making an investment for a couple $1,000s, right, you don't have to build as much trust as if it's like $100,000 or more, right? So think about what your prospect's perception is. If they come to your website, they think that you're doing it more as a hobby. They don't think you're as professional as somebody else, right? Then they might go to your competition. So are you communicating your story consistently? In person, your services that you've delivered, and your logo, website, social media, photos, content, all of it. Are you communicating it consistently online as you are in person? And if you're thinking that you don't get any work from your website and, social media and everything online, but you're great at, communicating and closing, like getting somebody to buy from you when they're in person, then I guarantee there's like a misalignment between what you're delivering and how you're communicating that in person and how it's being communicated online. Our absolute goal is to make these two match up, making sure that what you're really offering is being communicated on, online. So positioning your brand to build trust. So think about your logo. A lot of people don't think that their logo is that important, but I tell you that putting a logo that doesn't have that beautiful look that is communicating, the overall feel and your story and the look and feel of your work, like taking a logo that looks like clip art and putting it on a website is not going to match up. Like it's going to throw the whole website off or the social media pages. Like the logo is absolutely a key element to your overall marketing. Like, it is one of the foundation elements. And if you're feeling like, you know, you can't afford a logo, or, you know, that's an investment that you don't need it, I would recommend doing something like a typed solution or something like that versus like a mark, because, you know, it takes more effort to, so it's more of an investment to do like a mark versus like a typed solution. Can do some beautiful type solutions. I'm the logo designer, so I do all the logos, and that is a key element. And I always tell people, you know, if they are just starting out, or if they need to save on their investment so they can spend it elsewhere, then do like a type solution that still has that look and feel. So that's what you're really trying to do, is get that look and feel. Then for the website has multiple elements, and they're all key to building that trust and positioning your brand, and your website to get those ideal clients. So your logo, the design of it, the colors, even the font. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll design the logo, and then we'll use those colors and fonts on the website, and that ties everything together. Photos of your work, absolutely. I highly recommend using professional photographer. So if you're going to invest in one thing, get a professional photographer. That is like the key element. So then your services, your messaging, content, processes, project case studies, awards, press, like blog testimonials, and functionality. Those are all key elements, you know, that can help somebody move to that next step. So they are super important. Social media. Like, I want to make sure that when I'm scrolling down a social media page like Instagram, let's say I'm scrolling down, I want to get an overall look of your brand. I'm going to get an overall look of the beauty of your work. And it's so important. Like, if you have professional photography photos and you're putting some like clip art images over it, or some colors, or the overall design and the brand of the elements that you're putting with the work, if they don't match the style of your work, they're going to throw your brand off, and they're not going to, you know, they're not going to build that trust with your ideal client. So logo, colors, fonts, photos of your work, again, graphics, making sure it doesn't look like clip art. And I only say that because I do see that happening. Messaging, content, what kind of content? Is it content that's relevant to what your ideal client wants to be seeing? Reviews, followers, engagement. Brand positioning in your logo. A company's logo is one of the first brand assets new prospects experience. Your logo, is your logo telling the right story? So again, the design, the fonts, the negative space is so important, which I think is something that people overlook. So the negative space is just like, if you have elements that are too close, they can cause tension that people are not even aware, like that you might not even be aware of, but it gives you like, it doesn't give you this relaxed, comfortable feel. It causes tension. Company name can like help you tell the right story. Tagline, all those elements can help you tell the right story. Here's a sample of a before and after. And this is what I call like a mark solution. So this right here is like a mark versus a type solution is, you know, just having type without like this mark solution. Both of them can really be absolutely successful. It just really depends on like who your ideal client is and what's going to tell that best story. So this is a logo before and after, and you could see that somebody would trust this company and be willing to pay this company more than this company, right? Even though it's the same company. Here's another before and after. And again, you know, somebody would be willing to pay and trust this company versus like this company. So logo design. Your logo should create the same emotional response that your work does when prospects experience it. And I know that's something that's kind of, you know, maybe hard to understand, but think about when you're designing a room and you're picking out that, like, you know, piece that's going to be the focal point for the room. Like if that piece is off, everything in the room is going to be off, right? You guys know that. You're all designers. Your logo, think about it the same way. Think about all the elements that are creating that experience, just like when you're doing a room and all the elements that create that experience. So I always like to start, you know, and you can, whether you don't have a logo or you're thinking your logo needs to be improved, or like, let's say you have a current logo that you're happy with, you can double check, is this logo like sending the right message? So I always like to select 5 words that describe your brand. So if you select 5 words that describe your brand, is it really luxury? You know, it's obviously like design, but is it really luxury or is it something else? So what are those 5 words? Is it modern? Is it traditional? Is it country? Like what is, or is it like commercial? What are the experiences? Like if you think about those words together and you think about how you feel about them, that's how you should feel when you look at your logo. So I hope that makes sense. Create a logo that gives prospects the feeling of those words. Keep it simple, clean, and professional. It doesn't need to be done like overdone. It just needs to be done like well, so it gives you that feeling. Ensure the text is readable at all sizes. That's super important because a lot of times logos are designed larger and then they're used smaller, and then it's hard to read some of the text. And then create versions that work well on a website, social media, and print. Brand positioning in your website. A company's website is the foundation of its marketing. It helps build trust and moves prospects to that next level. Is your website telling the right story? So is it telling the right story? Your logo, your design, the colors, the fonts, again, the negative space. I always think of like thinking of spacing. I know you guys, a lot of you do space planning. There, negative space and designing is a lot like space planning, where things are lining up, where you're drawing the user from one element to the next, right? But think of like the negative space that can cause tension, or does it cause like flow? Does it cause, how does it cause your eye to move? Hierarchy of elements, photos of your work, and then again, services, messaging, content, social proof, functionality. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples so you can understand. So this is a website before, and this is after. So if you think about the one before, the perceived value, the like, if you were a prospect looking online and you came to this website versus this one, who would you be willing to pay more to? Which one, like if I came to this one and I saw the work, and the work was exactly like what I wanted in my home, right? Then I would be more willing to hire this person than this person, right? You can't even see the work and the photos aren't professional, and the messaging isn't really communicating how you can help. But see how those photos also are not looking professional. Think about, you know, like a shiny car, right? Or just anything, like you want to make sure that you're showing it off as something brand new and beautiful. If it's not, you know, selling that like look and feel, they might as well do it themselves, right? They're hiring you because they want something different than what they could do themselves. Again, here's another one, website before, and both these companies are like, you know, doing exceptionally well, and they have like, they do absolutely gorgeous work. And here's the one before, here is the after. So it definitely like has a totally different look and feel that matches the style of her work. So website design, your design should create the same emotional response that your work does when prospects experience it. And I know I've talked about emotional response like multiple times, but and the reason why is because you guys are selling an emotional like experience. They want to feel good about the space that they're in. And so all your marketing has to like communicate that message. Use colors that complement your work. So like here in this website, like the bright green and the fonts and everything, like don't represent the beauty of her work. Use fonts that are beautiful, clean, and easy to read. And again, that represent your work. Arrange elements on each page in order of importance. So hierarchy of elements. I'm also an oil painter, and I studied with this amazing painter. And one of the things she would always say to me is like, you know, if everything is the focal point, nothing is the focal point, right? Because everything is shouting at you and you don't know where to go, and it's stressful and you shut down. So think about arranging the elements on each page in order of importance for that user experience to guide them to where you want them to go to take that next step. Use a professional photographer to take photos of your work. So that is number one. And if you're struggling with that, I recommend a couple of tips. One is really marking up your services, making sure that you're marking up your services enough to pay for that photographer. If you're not getting professional photos of your work, you're not going to be able to sell your services. So, because that is what is selling your services. So that is number one. And the other one is you can always write into your contracts to write in your contract that you're going to be at the end of the project coming in and having a professional photographer take photos, and absolutely make sure that happens, because that's going to help you get additional projects that are like the one that you just did. It's so hard to go back in there, as you know, later and get those professional photos, and really make sure that you hire the right type of photographer, because you really don't need to, show every single element of what you have done. You want the photos to just give them a taste, a look and feel. You're just trying to get them to fall in love with your work so they can move to that next step. Website content. Communicate who you are selling to, what problem you are solving for them, what services you are offering, proof you've done it before, information about you and your business, what you would like them to do next. And think about their user experience. So make it easier for visitors to find what they're looking for on the homepage and in the navigation. So you have 3 seconds there for them to be like, oh, I'm in love with this. I'm going to look further. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to look in the navigation. Or in 3 seconds, they're going to say, oh gosh, this isn't the look and feel and the services that are going to help me. I'm going to go look for somebody else. Offer educational content that will help them get to that next step. So for example, if you specialize in, renovations, what information could you teach them that's going to help them, get to that next step and build trust with you also, that you have a process and you're going to take them through it and you're absolutely going to deliver on that promise. So offer prospects something of value for each stage of the buying cycle. So offer them something of value for each stage. So like I said, if you specialize in renovations, maybe there's a checklist of what you need to do before you hire an interior designer for a renovation, right? Include a call to action on the homepage above the fold. So think about that 3-second rule you have on the homepage, right at the top, 3 seconds. There might be somebody that wants to take that next step. Make sure there's a call to action there that's easy to find. Don't make them work. Make it easy. Make it easy for prospects to have a conversation with you by having an online calendar. I'm a huge fan of online calendars, and an online calendar does not have to be an in-person appointment. Think about, I call them consult, but they're really not consults. They're really a qualification call for you. There may be a 15-minute conversation where you can have it over the phone. You can set up the calendar so it's like only certain times of the week. But having a calendar so you can have a 15-minute conversation can be key to getting somebody to move to that next step versus going to one of your competitors. And it's just a qualification call. Social media and Google My Business, stay visible by meeting prospects where they are doing research and spending time. So social media profile should create the same emotional response that your work does when prospects are scrolling. So when they're scrolling down, are they in love with everything they see? Because that's probably the first step when they get to your social media page, like your Instagram page. Use graphics, colors, fonts that complement your work. Use a professional photographer to take photos of your work. I know I've already said that multiple times, but it's super important. Increase engagement by offering educational content that will help them get to that next step. Create content using time blocks and using scheduling software. Google My Business. This is key for local search. So Google My Business is increasingly one of the most important places to have your business listed. So a lot of times it's what people see first when they're searching for your company. So it could be when they're searching for your company, or which is right here, or it could be that they're just doing a search for interior designers near me and the map section comes up, right? So they're doing a search, the map section comes up, and then they're going to look at everybody's websites and reviews right here, and they're going to pick, first of all, they're going to search in their area, they're going to look in the maps, they're going to look for who has the best reviews, and then they're going to look at the top 3 companies that have the best reviews. They're going to look at their websites, and then they're going to pick who they want to contact. So if you're missing any of these steps, like having a Google My Business profile, this step, or if you're missing the online reviews, like having a strategy set up to get consistent reviews online, then you're missing this step. And then if you don't have a website, logo, brand, like online brand that's gonna help, tell your story, then you're gonna miss that step. So Google My Business, set up a Google My Business profile, so key. Include professional photos of your work, set up a process to consistently generate reviews. That's so important. And then respond to all reviews. So even if it's a good review, like sometimes good and bad or whatever, hopefully you're not getting any bad reviews. But make sure you are showing up in a professional manner and communicating. That shows when somebody's looking at those reviews that you're giving good customer service. So I'm gonna put this link in chat here. So if you if you're interested in getting help, let me put that in just a second. If you're interested in getting help in transforming your business, then feel free to book a consultation with me. Hold on, and I'll put that in chat, and then I'm going to answer these questions here. And thank you so much, everybody. And feel free to also come off chat and let me know, or write more questions. I'm just going to read here. I'm just getting started in the design arena. I am well aware of the need to have a great website presence. Great, such a great topic. I am a new startup and looking on how to target my ideal client using social media and Google SEO. Absolutely. Well, the first step is that foundation. And if you're just starting out and you have limited investment, then I suggest still investing in the logo and having a professional website built. The thing that I would recommend cutting down on is the number of pages that you're doing, right? So that can cut down on, on the investment is the number of pages. I wouldn't sacrifice the look and feel of the logo or the look and feel of the website or the messaging and the story that you're telling on the website. So you can do a smaller website and then build on it as you're growing, tell more of a story. And I find sometimes with people that are a startup business too, they're just starting up, is they don't have as much of a story to tell because they're still trying to figure out what they're offering. And I just want to show you a sample of a website that we did that is a smaller one. Hold on for a second, but still really amazing. Here we go. Let me bring this up. So here's a website here that was just a couple of pages. Adrian came to us and he wanted to start generating leads. And, he wasn't interested in redoing his website at first. But I kind of have a policy that we can't, generating leads and, is a big investment, whether it's time or a financial investment. And it is the biggest investment. So if you don't have this foundation set up, then you're just wasting a ton of time and you're wasting a lot of investment because they're going to come check your website out and you're going to lose that prospect as a lead. So we absolutely want to make sure that this foundation is built to tell your story, to represent your design, and to convert people. So when they come to your website, they decide they're totally in love with what they see. So this is the after. This is the after. And this is a smaller website. It's actually only a couple of pages. But still, you can see that it still looks absolutely professional. It still has that look and feel and the messaging, creating the home you've always dreamed of. It overall has that look and feel, and it definitely built that foundation. And then he can build on that as he grows. So for example, this one, you just scroll down and you can see a lot of information. So it's only I think a 2-page website, 2 or 3-page website. But we still could put things up in the navigation here because we made it so if you click in the navigation, it jumps down to this about section. So it's not like a whole separate about page, but it just jumps down. So it looks like it's a bigger site than it really is. So a couple little tricks like that. All right, thank you so much for joining, and we'll be sending out the worksheet. So the worksheet right here, what you'll want to do is, you can just write notes of what you need to work on. Here's the worksheet and the status of is it done? Are you working on it? Do you want to work on it later? It's a whole worksheet kind of taking you through all these different steps that I talked to you guys about. So again, thank you so much for joining, and reach out if you are interested in getting any help. So that foundation, it's super important, even as a new business, to do it right the first time. because that's going to help you build the momentum faster. And doing it right is, you know, making sure it has that right look and feel, but maybe keeping it small if you need to, and then growing. Just depends on where you're at. One other tip is if you know, have pretty big goals and want to reach those goals sooner, then the recommendation might be to build more pages or do more for your marketing in order to build momentum faster. So, you know, the investment definitely needs to match up with how aggressive you want to be with your business, what your business goals are. So think about that as the first step. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I've loved having you here. I would love anybody coming off video or chat, seeing what they thought was most helpful would be great, or sharing where they're at. If anybody has any more questions, happy to answer them. All right. Thank you, everybody. Now go have a great day. All right. Bye.